Alright guys, today's video we're going to go over the key attributes of linear functions. So one of them is the slope. Remember, slope is the change in y over the change in the x. It's also known as the constant rate of change. When we use slope in an equation, it's always from the variable m. And remember, slope is written as a fraction, rise over the run. And the y values are always on top. So another way to calculate the slope is delta y over delta x, which literally means the change in y over the change in x. And how do you get the change in something? You subtract. So remember, your slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now, our y-intercept is the point in which a graph crosses the y-axis, also known as the b in an equation, or the beginning, starting point. Or, in real world problems, it'll be known as the initial value. Or, if they're talking about a one-time fee or an initial fee, that's what it is. It's always, remember, where the line crosses the y-axis, so it will show up like this. Here's our x and y. Remember, this is our y, this is our x. And if the line goes through like this, it's going to be that point right there. That's our y-intercept. Now, our x-intercept is the point which crosses the x-axis, also known as the 0. So if this was our our y and our x, the x-intercept is going to be this point. It's wherever it crosses the x-axis. And just a term you need to know, this is also called the 0. So, if we see this on a graph, remember, constant rate of change is the slope. It's the rise over the run. This slope, it goes up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So it goes up 6. And it goes over 1, 2, and 3. Which would mean my slope there is 6 over 3, which does reduce. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Our x-intercept is going to be right here where it hits the x-axis. And what point is that at? That's at 1, 2, 3, 0. So the x-intercept, the y will always be 0. The y-intercept, the one you're familiar with, the beginning point, the x will be 0. And the y will be, on this one it goes down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So, -6. Y-intercept, the x is 0. X-intercept, the y is 0. If we put this on our table, and it's these points reflected over here, our y-intercept, it will have the y value. So the x is 0. The x-intercept, well, it's going to have an x value. The y value will be 0. Or, on a table, and what they did is they did the change in y over change in x. From 4 to 10, this goes up 6. From 5 to 8, this goes up 3. So 6 over 3, which is also reduces down to 2. So we got our slope in several different ways, and we looked at the intercepts and the slope based on the graph. Then right here they put it in our formula, y2 over y1 minus x2 over x1. So, and then they picked these 2 points. So my y2 was 10 minus my y1, which is 4, over my x2, which is 8, minus my x1, which is 5, which would be 6 over 3, and that reduces down to 2. So there's a lot of different ways to do this, but just remember, the only really new term we're learning is x-intercept. That's also called the 0. The y value is always going to be 0 on the x-intercept. I'm going to stop the video here, and then we'll go to part 2.